Words are weapons. In the arena of daily life, in every meeting, every family dinner, every online interaction, we are faced with verbal attacks. The subtle jab of criticism, the loud barrage of arrogance, the slow poison of a chronic complainer. Our instinctive reaction is to fight back, to match anger with anger, to defend our ego, to win the argument. But this battle leaves us exhausted, frustrated, and often we sink to the very level we despise. But what if you had a better arsenal? What if you had a form of verbal jiu-jitsu, a way to use the opponent's own energy to neutralize the conflict and maintain your own unshakable calm? The title of this video promises responses that will silence anyone. Let me be very clear, this is not about aggressive comebacks that escalate a fight. This is about the profound, deafening silence that follows a response so wise and so unexpected that the aggressor has no ground left to stand on. This is the Stoic art of verbal defense. This video will give you 7 of these smart, Stoic responses, your new arsenal for navigating any difficult conversation with grace and power. Before we arm ourselves, go to the comments and tell me which verbal attack is the hardest for you to handle. An insult or a complaint. Let's begin your training. Response 1. For unjust criticism. The scenario. You've poured your effort into a project. In a review, a colleague or boss dismisses your work with harsh, unfair criticism, focusing on minor flaws and ignoring the overall quality. Your immediate impulse is to get defensive, to list all the reasons they are wrong, to protect your fragile ego. The smart response. Make eye contact, take a calm breath and say, "Thank you for that feedback. I will give it the consideration it deserves." The Stoic wisdom behind it. This response is a masterpiece of temperate power. Firstly, you are not agreeing with the criticism. You are simply thanking them for the act of giving feedback, which is a neutral event. Secondly, you are reclaiming all the power. The phrase, "I will give it the consideration it deserves," is a statement of sovereignty. You are affirming that you are the ultimate judge of your own work and the validity of their critique. You will analyze it later with a cool head and decide for yourself if there is any merit. This calm refusal to engage in a defensive battle instantly silences them. They expected a fight, and you gave them a quiet demonstration of professional confidence. You are practicing the Stoic virtue of wisdom, the ability to separate external data from internal judgment. Response 2. For the arrogant proclamation. The scenario. You're in a discussion, and someone makes a sweeping, arrogant statement, presenting their opinion as absolute fact. Anyone with a brain knows this is the only way to do it, they say, shutting down all debate. The temptation is to either shrink into silence or to counter with an equally aggressive opinion. The smart response. With genuine, calm curiosity, you ask, "That's an interesting perspective. What information led you to that conclusion?" The Stoic wisdom behind it. Arrogance is a fortress built on sand. It relies on intimidation and bold claims, not on solid reasoning. The Stoic, a lover of logic, logos, doesn't attack the fortress walls. They test the foundation. This question is a calm, non-confrontational request for evidence. You are not saying, "You're wrong." You are saying, "Show me your reasoning." More often than not, the arrogant person has no solid reasoning to show. Their proclamation was based on ego, not evidence. Your question forces them to either expose the weakness of their own position or to backtrack. The conversation is instantly elevated from a battle of egos to a quest for truth, and in that arena, arrogance cannot breathe. Response 3. For the chronic complainer. The scenario. A friend or co-worker traps you in their daily monologue of misery. They complain about their job, their partner, the weather, everything. They are an energy vampire, and their goal is not to find solutions, but to gain your sympathy and pull you into their vortex of negativity. The weak response is to either offer empty platitudes or worse, to start complaining with them. The smart response: listen patiently for a moment, then, with an empathetic but firm tone, say, "That does sound like a very difficult situation. What do you think your next step will be?" The Stoic wisdom behind it. This response performs a brilliant maneuver. The first part, "that does sound difficult," validates their feeling without validating their victim narrative. It shows you are listening, the virtue of justice. The second part, "what is your next step?" is a powerful pivot. It shifts the entire frame of the conversation from passive complaint to active problem-solving. It is a gentle but firm refusal to participate in their self-pity. You are handing them back the responsibility for their own lives. Often the chronic complainer has no interest in taking action, and your question will gently short-circuit their script, leading to a thoughtful silence as they realize you are not a fellow victim, but a prompt for agency. Response 4. For the gossiper. The scenario. A group is gathered, and someone starts sharing a juicy piece of gossip about an absent person. They look to you for agreement, for your contribution to the takedown. Participating feels inclusive, but you know it's a cheap and toxic form of bonding. The smart response. Remain silent while they speak. When they finish, allow for a brief, slightly uncomfortable pause, and then say calmly, "I wasn't there, so I can't really comment. But speaking of the project, did we get the final numbers yet?" The Stoic wisdom behind it. As Marcus Aurelius taught, the cost of engaging in trivialities is the neglect of your own mind and duties. This response is a masterclass in Stoic discipline. The silence is a subtle form of disapproval. The phrase, "I wasn't there, so I can't comment," is a statement of unimpeachable justice. You refuse to judge a situation without facts. And the immediate pivot back to a relevant, constructive topic demonstrates that your attention is a valuable resource that you will not waste on negativity. You don't need to preach or moralize. Your disciplined action itself is a silent lesson that silences the gossip by refusing to give it an echo. Response 5. For a direct personal insult. The scenario. Someone, either in anger or as a joke, throws a direct insult at you. "You're always so disorganized," or "that was a stupid idea." The instinct is to feel the sting of shame and either lash out in anger or crumble in self-defense. The smart response. Look at them, smile slightly, and use humorous exaggeration, an advanced technique taught by Epictetus. Say something like, "You're right, and honestly, if you knew my other flaws, you'd be even more disappointed." The Stoic wisdom behind it. An insult is an arrow designed to pierce your ego. If you show that your ego is not fragile, the arrow has nothing to hit. By agreeing with the insult in a playful, exaggerated way, you demonstrate absolute, unshakable self-worth. You are communicating that their opinion has zero power to define you. You have taken their weapon and you have melted it down with the heat of your own confidence. This response is so unexpected and disarming that it almost always results in a stunned silence or even laughter, completely shattering the aggressor's frame. Response 6. For an unreasonable demand. The scenario. Someone asks you to do something that violates your boundaries, sacrifices your well-being, or is simply not your responsibility. The nice guy impulse is to over-explain and apologize profusely for saying no. The smart response. Deliver a calm, firm, and simple no without excessive justification. Say, "I understand this is important to you, but I won't be able to do that." The Stoic wisdom behind it. Seneca taught that our time is our most valuable possession. To give it away carelessly is the greatest of follies. A long, apologetic explanation signals that you feel guilty for protecting your own boundaries. It invites negotiation and further pressure. A simple, respectful no is the statement of a sovereign individual. It is not an act of aggression, it is an act of clarity. It communicates that you are the master of your own time and priorities. This calm finality is difficult to argue with, and usually ends the negotiation immediately, preserving your time and your self-respect. Response 7. For any ambiguous provocation. The scenario. You're faced with a passive-aggressive comment, a loaded question, or any statement designed to put you on the spot, and you don't have an immediate answer. The pressure is on to respond instantly. The smart response. This is the ultimate Stoic pause button. Say, with a neutral and thoughtful expression, "That's an interesting point. I'll have to give that the thought it deserves." The Stoic wisdom behind it. This is the embodiment of temperance and wisdom. You are refusing to be rushed into an emotional or ill-considered response. This phrase is brilliant because it is both respectful, "You made an interesting point," and completely non-committal. It gracefully ends the immediate confrontation, giving you back control over the timeline. You can now walk away and analyze the comment with a cool head, deciding later if it requires any response at all. It is the ultimate shield against being cornered, a verbal move that creates space, time, and freedom. So, the smartest response is rarely the quickest, the loudest, or the wittiest. It is the most disciplined. These 7 responses are not just lines to memorize. They are manifestations of an inner state. They are exercises in mental discipline designed to protect your character, preserve your peace, and project an aura of calm strength. A fool is known by his many reactive words. A wise person by their thoughtful silence and precise speech. Your goal is not to win every verbal skirmish, but to win the great war for your own tranquility. Choose your words not as weapons of attack, but as the strong, silent building blocks of your inner fortress. Now go back to your comment, insult, or complaint. Reply to it with the word discipline. It is your commitment to begin the training of your speech and the forging of your character. If this guide has added to your mental arsenal, subscribe to the channel. Would you like me to create the SEO optimized description and tags for this video?